So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Mind the Moment Thursday morning mindfulness session brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. And this is a place, as you know, that we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to talk with us about what mindfulness means to them, and then to process as a community how we might incorporate these practices into our daily lives. So I am Suzanne Rowe, Palacino, and as always on Thursdays, I am delighted to be here with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's Mindfulness Program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne. I am always delighted to be here, and welcome to all of you who have joined.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody coming on.
Yeah.
So today, Tara will start us off with a little check-in and then lead us in a guided practice. And after that, we'll have time for questions and answers. And if any questions come up in the meantime, if you wanted to get something in, go ahead and type that now and go to the bottom of the screen and click on the chat. And that's where you can type your question. And you can also have the option of clicking on panelists and attendees so you can see all the comments as they come through. All right, so that's all for that. And Tara, so how would you like to start us off?
Yeah, so as Suzanne said, and I typically, before I get right into practice, do want to check in with people. And part of what I've been thinking about a few things as a way to check in and to just see how people are. And then one of them is that I always find the transition from winter into spring to be a pretty powerful, energetically powerful transition. You know, there's a lot happening under the earth. We're seeing buds and flowers, and it always feels really hopeful to me. And since Sunday, the weather's been pretty extraordinary. So for those of you in Massachusetts, it's been at least Massachusetts, but beyond maybe too. It's been warm and sunny, and so I've been feeling a lot of hope. But I also want to say that, you know, kind of combined with that, that we've had gun violence yet again in this country, and we are still in a pandemic. The vaccines are being given now and coming, but we're coming out of a year of trauma related to that as well. So I want to just kind of start by, you know, we're holding all of these things still. And just as a way to check in with folks this morning, like, how are you feeling in this moment? How are you now? And why folks are thinking about it, Suzanne, I'm actually going to ask you to kind of kick it off with how you are, you know, given kind of what I've said, sort of the magnitude of what we're holding. How are you this morning?
Yeah, so I do feel the same about this time frame that we're in. Back in November, I felt like as long as we can get to March, I felt like March was the time where things, you know, spring and the hopefulness of spring and the vaccines, I think, has brightened my spirits a little bit. But at the same time, you know, we have difficulty in our country, and it's been, you know, there's a lot of dichotomy going on in me right now, just as having two different feelings of hopefulness, but also, you know, some cautious optimism.
I would agree. I mean, it's kind of you know, it's holding both of those things. And let's see what folks are saying.
So some people have said hopeful, worry thoughts today, also encouraged, feeling more hopeful and energized with the weather, feeling the spring energy, hopeful that winter weather is gone, and the hope of spring. Also feel anxiety about what going through, and a little feeling of unrest.
I think spring does certainly bring with it this sort of you know, kind of a feeling of renewal, right? Like just the possibility, and just the warmth of the sun. You know, on Tuesday, I was just out in my yard, like really taking in, you know, what that warmth felt like on my body and my mind. And And again, that, we're all holding a lot. And I think these practices support us really well in stepping into the whole mix, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is anything else coming in? Oh,
So why
Hilda.
don't we go ahead and we'll get started in a practice, probably like 12 minutes of practice or around that. And that'll leave us time for questions. And just not even questions, but just like whatever you want to say or how you're feeling. And, we'll just have a back and forth. So as a way to begin, I'm going to encourage everyone to take a couple of deep breaths on their own. And what I would encourage is a deep inhalation through the nose and make that exhalation a bit longer. And that helps stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which can, stimulate more ease as we get ready to practice. So just go ahead on your own, and whatever posture, sitting or standing, just a couple deep breaths, just to settle in and settle any surface tension. And whether you're standing or seated, just bringing attention to your body and just kind of ask yourself, what am I noticing right now in my body physically? What are the sensations that are making themselves known? Perhaps the points of contact with the body and the surface, you can notice some subtle sensation. Or even just from your activities so far this morning, what are the sensations in your body, pulsing, vibration, temperature, tingling, heat. How are things right now? No need to make anything different, just noticing your body. As one of my teachers, Sharon Salzberg, would say, feel what you feel. And also now begin to notice sound that may be occurring in your room, the room that you're in or outside of the room, and just receiving sound. Coming back into the body, allowing sound to remain in the background. And once again, attention on the whole body. So just seeing how things are, how you're feeling, what sensations are being known. Especially if there's any sense of unrest or unease, you wanna actually feel that. Letting go of the narrative or the story about it, but just simply feel it. So it's like this now, just letting yourself experience it. And gradually begin to narrow the focus of attention from whole body awareness to the sensations that you notice when you breathe. You don't have to have a special breath. However you're breathing right now is perfect. So breathing in and breathing out and noticing where that sensation is strongest in your body. Let your attention anchor on the in-breath and the out-breath to the area of the body where you feel it the most. And if breath is difficult for you this morning, you can use sound or you can Place the palms of your hands on the top of your thighs and use that point of contact, that sensation as your anchor. And the last thing I'll say before I'm quiet for several minutes is that thoughts are going to come and go. We're not trying to stop them. Just simply seeing that when we are in a thought, because they slip in unnoticed typically. So when we see that we're caught in a thought of the past or the future, just gently label thinking and then return to whatever you're using to help anchor your attention. So you won't hear me for a few minutes. Noticing where the mind is and gently escorting your attention back to the anchor that you're using. And noticing where the mind is, gently releasing the narrative, the story, the memory, planning, and escort your attention back to the anchor that you're using today. And as we bring this practice to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And for all of those known and unknown to us, may they be peaceful and at ease. May their heart be soft and open. May they be safe and protected, and their bodies healthy and strong. And may our practice today be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And as you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, you can allow them to open when you're ready. And maybe take a moment just to kind of stretch a bit. So I just want to say that we're going to end at 9, but Suzanne is taking those slides at the back off, so it actually gives us a little bit more time to just converse with each other. And essentially all that you need to know about our program, the links, our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube page, they're all on harvardpilgrim.org/mindfulness. So
thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting when I was thinking of a question that had come up at another time when we're looking to settle our bodies. What if we just can't settle our bodies?
So, yeah, no, that's a really, really good question. I think, Suzanne, in a way, we are not even trying to settle our bodies. We're trying to see the state the body is in and see if we can be with it. Okay, so for instance, let's say you start a sitting practice and there's a lot of anxiety and you're feeling that physical anxiety. You really have two choices here. One is that you can start to get curious about the physical expression of the anxiety in the body. Like, can I actually feel it? And that would be true for an itch or a muscle cramp or just that overall sense of anxiety where there's kind of a pulsing and a buzzing sort of in the body, sometimes tingling. I mean, we've all had that anxiety. So it's like, can I let go of my anchor? So let's say breath or something, and just, I mean, for lack of a better expression, let it rip. Like, feel the physicality of the anxiety, which is very different than adding stories, that sort of addition of, whoa, this isn't working. I'm supposed to feel a certain way when I meditate, which is incorrect. We're supposed to feel what we feel and see if we can make room for it and feel it. Now, what I would add is that, you have to judge the intensity of it. And if it feels too intense for you, so if you sort of put your toe in the water and feel the physical, come out of the story, feel the physical expression, and just be with it, like hold it. The other option is you could do like a walking meditation practice. So when there's a lot of anxiety, doing walking meditation, or even doing yoga, where you're actually really bringing attention to the body as you're moving through postures, feeling the body moving and feeling the expression of whatever is happening. So movement can help with that. It just depends on the intensity of the anxiety. Yeah. And if you don't feel like you can do it at all, then don't, do something else to distract yourself from it. So it just depends on the intensity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I would love to also, Suzanne, you can follow up with a question, but also I was just going to say to those of you who are with us today, you can make any comments or questions or, thoughts that you want to share. It's all what we welcome it all.
Yeah. No, I love the idea of yoga because I feel like that, it gets us, like you said, more into our body and closer to the earth too, which can be kind of supportive.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yoga's really such a great practice, and for just grounding and for stability, and you know, you just bring mindful awareness. I mean, I think people can do yoga for the fitness aspect. You can also do yoga for the increasing the capacity, your mindfulness, overall mindfulness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know folks have also mentioned that the times when one feels like they most need to meditate are the times sometimes
Yeah.
that it's most difficult
Yes.
to meditate,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Yes. And I think, you know, part of that too is that, you know, our sort of world is set up with a lot of distraction. Um, and you know, some of it's self-imposed and some of it is not. You know, we just have, you know, families and a life and work and, you know, things we have to do. Um, and and there's also, you know, sort of this capacity to sort of numb out with, you know, overdoing Netflix or social media, or, you know, I know everybody understands what I'm talking about here, you know, that, and that keeps us distant from actually feeling what's happening. And so, you know, those, um, what's there is there, it just tends to get suppressed. Whereas these practices actually help bring it out a little bit. Um, and I think about this time that we're in with spring and these things that are coming up out of the ground, these little flowers and buds on trees, and um, that we can almost think of that, you know, in a way this practice is excavating, is that's a word, like some of our um, you know, some of our grief and some of the difficulties that we've experienced this past year. And then the practice is, can I actually feel it? You know, can I be with it?
Mm. Yeah, someone commented that I anchored on the tension. They have a right shoulder tension and they anchored on it, placing their hand on it, and then
Ah,
breathe and release it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's great. Um,
And that
love that.
and journaling
Uh,
really helps them when they feel anxious, which,
yeah,
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 that really helps us to connect with more
yeah.
the deeper feelings beyond those initial superficial feelings.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And lots of comments about yoga. Yeah. I mean, gosh, it's so, you know, it's an ancient practice that has, you know, the potential to support us in numerous ways, and, you know, kind of combining meditation, yoga. You know, these practices are so necessary in our world right now. Um, and you know, I'm also looking at the comment about feeling the feeling of unrest, that I want to normalize that for everybody, and just to, you know, encourage you to feel it, you know, to, as Sharon says, feel what you feel. And it's the physical body, you know, it's going to express itself, grief and worry and tension. And the opposite is true, like joy and excitement. And, you know, all of that is to be held, and, you know, to be really taken in, to be held, to feel that that is nourishing to you. Um, and Rick Hansen, who's he's a neuropsychologist, and he has a piece that he writes called "Taking the Good." You know, this idea of, um, you know, even just noticing the. I was walking around my neighbor's yard. She has this amazing landscaped yard with these beautiful flowers, and it's kind of a maze. And she wasn't home. She tells me I can walk through there anytime, but I don't usually do it without calling her. But if she wasn't home, so I was walking through the other day and seeing so many buds coming up out of the earth, and excited for what those potentially will be. And so, you know, it's this really capacity to take in, as Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Vietnamese master, would say, you know, our life is filled with 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows, you know, that this capacity to be with all of it. So
Mm.
the things that are joyful and wonderful, they also are of a nature to change, just like those things that are difficult, the cramp, the itch, or the bigger losses that we have in life. That experience of grief and those things will morph and change as well. So there's great comfort in that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think when the self-care, self-help kind of industry started to come about and get more popular, I think so much of it was focused on, reaching happiness and
Yes, yes,
the ultimate
yes,
happiness. And that, all of us want that, but what will help us with, and the joy and feeling the joy is understanding that there's, and this isn't easy, and I'm always trying to get better at it, is understanding that there's suffering,
yeah.
and
It's a lifetime, it's lifelong, right? It's a lifelong practice. But
yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of cultural misconception about this is all about bliss and ease, and and that is part of it. There's a byproduct there, but the most transformative part for me, even in my early days, what drew me to this practice was this capacity to be with that which we don't want, whether it's the physical or emotional pain, and actually find that we can have some balance with that we're not so thrown off kilter by it. And we don't suppress it, and we don't act out from it. We actually learn to kind of assimilate it and then engage in the world that aligns with our values
Mm.
and all the rest.
Yeah, and I agree. Being able to feel into that pain and to connect with your body with what's ever going on helps us also. Many times we don't, if we have a painful situation, we won't come back to the times when we don't have pain and we're like, wow, we're feeling really good. So connecting with the body in both ways helps us with the joy and the
Yeah, that's so true. That's
suffering.
so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
any final comments or thoughts from our community? Have
yeah.
about a minute or a little less than.
Folks were mentioning about Kel's presentation on Tuesday. He did a different body scan, and that
Oh,
was
did he? Yeah.
helpful. He did the body scan from the head to the feet, and then from the feet back to the head, and
Oh, nice.
has a different energy level. So
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Kel's such a wonderful teacher.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we will be back this coming Tuesday and with another lovely instructor. So we're very happy to be with you here today. And thank you for everyone's participation and just all being together. I think sitting makes it all so much more pleasant for all of us. So
It
we're really happy.
so does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you,
Thanks,
Tara,
everybody.
for your guidance, and we'll hope to see everybody on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.